Today's video, which I am going to call my finishing all the books I'm in the middle of vlog. It is the Friday of the first May bank holiday weekend here in the UK when I'm filming this. It's about 3 o'clock. I've had a very busy bank holiday Friday so far. I am not working today. I normally don't work on Mondays, but it's been swapped to Friday for this week, and obviously I've done loads so far, but as far as I'm concerned, my bank holiday weekend starts here. So I would like to spend this bank holiday weekend reading as much as I can, to be honest. I'm dealing with some stuff right now, and it would be good to just spend some time reading because I've been in a bit of a reading slump, I think, to be honest. That's how you end up in the middle of 5 books you haven't finished, let's be real. And it would just be good to try and overcome that, and also to just have some relaxed time. I've found that a bit hard recently, so I'm going to try and focus on that. A little bit of a self-care weekend ahead of us, hopefully. The only plans that we have is going to see the Baldur's Gate 3 concert tomorrow. Stuart is really big into, that's my fiance, is really big into Baldur's Gate, and he really loves the music. We listen to it a lot, so we're gonna go and see that. But other than that, I don't have any plans, so ideally gonna spend some time reading. This is also my new reading chair. So you will, if you've had a look at my channel, already seen my new reading shelves. There's a beautiful, and if you haven't seen it, I do have a video up on my channel with a full tour of my babies, so please go and look at that if you want like a full in-depth tour. But this is my new reading chair. I got it from Amazon because honestly a lot of them didn't have what I wanted, like a lot of other places, or they were so expensive. I mean, even this was more than I would like to spend, but they're so expensive. So this one is really good because I can sit cross-legged on it, which was very important to me as somebody who always needs to have their legs crossed. Like if I'm sat at a work chair, like a computer chair, I normally want my legs crossed, or like if I'm sat in a normal chair, I'll always have my like legs one over another. If I'm sat on our sofa in the living room, I always have my legs crossed. Like I don't like not having them crossed. So it was very important to me to have a reading chair where I could have my legs crossed. So yeah, I love my reading chair. I really like it. And I would like to spend some time actually sitting in it because it arrived like over a week ago and I've not spent any time in it. So this should be good. It's also very rainy here for a bank holiday weekend. So I'm hoping that will be kind of atmospheric. I really like rain. I'm one of life's weird people. So I'm hoping that it will kind of be like nice. I have the conservatory as my, I was going to say my book space, really it's my office, but you know, it gives like a nice like pitter patter of the rain on the roof, which is kind of fun. Let me tell you a little bit about the 5 books that I'm in the middle of. One of those is on audio, which is Malibu Rising, which is by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I recently finished Carrie Soto is Back, and I also listened to Daisy Jones and the Six earlier this year, which I loved. What a book. That's my favourite TGR. And I read Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo sometime last year. So I think that the Taylor Jenkins Reid's books are just really good for listening audibly, because 2 of these books I am giving up on the audio. So at least with Taylor Jenkins Reid, I kind of trust that they're a good audio experience. I don't think I'm going to finish Malibu Rising in this weekend because I'm not aiming to. Ultimately, I listen to audiobooks over a much longer period of time. I listen to them while commuting to work and stuff, so like I'm not bothered about finishing Malibu Rising in this. But we do have 4 other books that I'm in the middle of, which it would be good to finish, so let's talk about those. So first up we have Where the Dark Stands Still, which is, I don't know where this exclusive edition is from. I don't think it's Verilou or Illumicrate. I bought it on Vinted, so I don't know what edition it is. But this one, I actually was going to be filming one of those kind of, you know, read your shelves, read it all or unhaul it kind of. I was going to like start that challenge again, but I only read about 60 pages of this, and therefore it just didn't feel like that video was going to be any good. So I'm going to scrap that video and I'm going to include that book in here. So as I say, I'm about 60 pages into this one, and I'm going to struggle to remember what this one is about, to be honest. I don't remember the 60 pages I have already read. Okay, there's a village girl. She walked into a forest and is going to get captured, something like that. Let's hope that comes back to me, shall we? When I start reading again. I wasn't loving the writing style of this, I'm going to be honest. It's quite lyrical, I would say, in a way. I've not really read any lyrical books, so I'm not sure that this actually is lyrical, but it felt like that was kind of what it was, and just not 100% for me so far. But hopefully I'll enjoy it, because look at these sprayed edges. I don't want to have to get rid of it. So there's that one. I then have So Now Go Tell by Susan Station. Susan Station is a family friend, so I'm reading her book. I'm about 130 pages through this one. This is a thriller, so it's not my normal kind of book, and I keep being worried about like when we're coming up to the scary parts. I assume it's scary. My mum has read it because my mum proofread it. And the main character is named after my mum. This one is, it's like a Shakespeare thriller. So if you really like Shakespeare, so my mum's friend Susan is actually a doctor of Shakespeare. So if you really like Shakespeare, then you might enjoy this. Like, it could be one for you. It's you know, I think if you don't know any Shakespeare, this book would be hard to enjoy. But if you do like Shakespeare and you like thrillers, could be one for you. Then we have Caraval by Stephanie Garber. So I started this on audio a couple of days ago, and I don't hate the audio experience. Like, I've made it to page 88 on audio, but I don't love the audiobook narration, and I feel like I'm dipping in and out of the story. And I really want to be a Stephanie Garber girly, particularly the series after Caraval, the Once Upon a Broken Heart. My friend Beth, who will probably watch this video, so hi Beth. Beth has just read that series, and she was like, Kat, you need to, you will love it. And she hadn't read Caraval and said it was fine. Like, she didn't feel spoiled, but I own the Caraval books, right? So I thought I should read Caraval first. But I don't think audio is the way to do that. So I'm going to read the physical ones instead. These are also beautiful floppy editions that I got recently. I showed these in a recent haul. Is that haul up on my channel yet? Who knows? I think it is. But I'm a bit like all over the place with my videos right now. So yeah, I'm going to try and read this physically. I also, because Beth told me about the special editions that are coming out in November, and they are beautiful. They are all white with like red on them. They look like the special edition Twilight books that I have somewhere at my parents'. So I immediately pre-ordered those. But it means I need to actually read this series to determine if I need to cancel that pre-order or not. And then the book that I think we're going to start with is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V. Schwab, because I have been in the middle of this one for the longest. So, oh, I didn't say what Caraval is about. Caraval is about two sisters who want to go to a circus. That's all I know so far, so not a lot to tell you. So Addie LaRue is about Addie, who is being forced to marry somebody she doesn't want to marry. And in order to kind of escape that, she makes like a bargain with the devil to agree that she will be left alone, you know, be able to escape if she doesn't have to marry this guy. The deal of that ends up being that she is then completely anonymous to everybody. Nobody will know her. And every day this resets. So it's not like she can make relationships with people. Every day people will forget her. It is a very interesting concept, and I've listened to about 60% on audio, but I've reached a point where this is the book that put me into a reading slump. And so many people love this book, and I want to love this book, and I bought this like special edition cover, which is absolutely gorgeous. And I want to love this book. It's my friend Liz's one of her favourite books. I actually just bought her a copy of it and bought her one of these covers as well. But yeah, so I want to love this book. And so far I don't think I am, but I want to let go of the audio experience so that I can see if I will enjoy this physically instead. So as I say, I'm about 60% through, so I'm on page like 295. So I've done a really big chunk on audio, but I'm going to just see if the book can be saved for me by going physically. So I think this is what I'm going to start with, because I am the furthest through. It's the book I started the longest ago, and it feels the least intimidating in a way because it's physically smaller, because it's a US hardback, but I think it's probably the longest of all of these. But if we start with the long one, maybe then I'll feel accomplished. But obviously I've got 4 books that I can rotate out, so if I feel like I'm not getting anywhere with this one, I'll just swap. So that's what we're going to start with. Those are the 4 books that we're hoping to read in the next 3.5 days. I hope that you will enjoy this video. I'm going to get cozy. I love about this reading chair, it does keep turning because you're like half on a rug and half not. I really need to sort this room out. But I love it because there is a TV in here, which I've never been able to properly watch because my work desk and my planning desk face away from the TV, but now I can face the TV. So I need to not just watch YouTube in here. I'm gonna like put on like, you know, atmosphere, videos, music type thing, and settle down and get reading. So I'll give you an update once I've read something. Happy Saturday. So yesterday I read about 150 pages of Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I'm up to part 5 and page 447. So actually, when I went into Goodreads, I think that I had this set up on a paperback version or something anyway, that meant that I don't think I was as far through as I thought I was, but now I am about 70 something% of the way through. We've got this much to go, so I think we can definitely get this finished today. I'm much more enjoying the reading experience of this physically than I did on audio, which is great. I still think this book is too long, to be honest. I think that we are repeating a lot of things. Like, the book alternates between current timeline and Addie's life back when, the book kind of starts with her like 300 years ago. And then also we have another character who's introduced, and we're kind of flitting back and forwards between his timeline as well. And I do find that really interesting to move around and to see things kind of, you see things that happen in the future linked to when they happened in the past and things like that. You're like, oh, okay, this is really interesting how this is linked up. This is, it repeats itself a little bit, in my opinion. I think it could be shorter, but I'm going to focus on finishing this today. So today we are going to the Baldur's Gate 3 music concert this evening. I have come on my period this morning, and my period is really bad for the first 2 days. I'm in the main pretty lucky to not experience, like, well, I say that, I think I have major hormone linked mood swings linked to my period, but let's ignore that. In terms of physical symptoms, I'm very lucky in the main, but the first 2 days are kind of rough and I feel shocking. I think I look shocking and I feel shocking, but it's a beautiful sunny day out there. I feel like the weather got the message that it's a bank holiday weekend and it needs to be lovely. So I've got the conservatory doors open, it's really nice and sunny and bright. I've just had some breakfast, so I'm gonna get reading because it's already like 10:15 and we're gonna go for dinner before Baldur's Gate, and I reckon we need to leave here at like 2:30. I really needed like a do nothing weekend. That's not happening, but anyway, I will come back to you, I think, when I finish this and give you my thoughts. I've been reading this book for such a long time, so it feels like really crazy to be done with it. I don't know how I want to rate this, I'll be honest. I much more enjoyed the latter half of the book. I much more enjoyed the physical reading experience of this, and I wish I'd physically read the entire thing because I think I would have enjoyed it more. And obviously I don't want to hold my overall feelings of the book against the fact that I listened to like 60% of it on audio when I should have read it physically. I think that the last part of this book, and obviously I won't go into it because spoilers and stuff, is really emotional and it deals a lot with the inevitably short life of being a human. There's this bit where it says about like that humans feel so big, and as a human who feels big, I really felt that. So I'm really glad I didn't DNF this, because I think this is a book that really should be read, and it is beautiful. The writing is really lyrical. I think lyrical writing is not for me, so I might take a pause before I attempt to read something like The Night Circus or something that I like know is lyrical writing, because this writing is a really particular way about it that is not what I typically read, so I maybe struggled a bit more with that. And I think that it ended in a way that was very satisfying for where we were going with it. It has quite, a very interesting ending. I have no idea what to rate it though. I feel similarly about this to how I felt about, what's the full name of the Elephant Oliphant book? I can't think of the full name, but I couldn't rate that because I felt so like unclear about my feelings related to the book, and and it just felt like a book that was more complicated than me being able to rate it. And I feel like Addie LaRue is similar. So I may not rate this, or at least I might not rate it immediately and then kind of think a bit more on it, because also I don't want to rate something, as I say, based on having not enjoyed the audio. So that is one book down. So it is about 10 to midday now. So I need to have a think about what I'm gonna do from here. I think me and Stuart probably need to get some lunch because we're eating dinner at like 5:15. So we need to eat some lunch now, really. So I'm gonna go find him, and then probably I will end up super distracted and not do anything else until we leave, but we'll see. But I think the next book I will probably go back to is Where the Dark Stands Still, because I'm not very far through this, but I'm really intrigued to see where the rest of the story goes, and I just don't really remember the first like 80 pages. 50, oh, I've only read 50 pages, but I don't really remember them. And so I think I was reading them kind of on the wrong day. So I think this is the one that I would like to get through next. But also, because we're going to be traveling into London, I'm not going to take a physical book with me. I mean, I could maybe take Caraval, at least it's a paperback. So I could maybe take Caraval if I was going to take a physical, but I'm not sure I want to carry a physical one around. So if I don't take Caraval, I have an arc that I need to read, which, is it called A Summer in Dandelions? I'll put the picture on the screen. But this is an arc that I need to read that the author really kindly gave to me, rather than like it being through NetGalley. Like I discovered the author on Instagram, and very excitingly got approved for the arc, so I need to read that. So I need to remind myself of when the publishing date is for that to make sure that I don't forget about it, because see, I'm getting married this month, and so I need to make sure I don't like lose track of like that being a book I need to read. So it might be that I take that, because taking my Kindle is a bit easier when we're going into London. So I'll update you when I have something else to say. Sunday. So yesterday we went to the Baldur's Gate 3 music concert at the Royal Festival Hall, which was really good. I've not played Baldur's Gate, but Stuart absolutely loves it. And it was like really cool to see the music live, and they had live singers and stuff. But we had dinner at the Las Iguanas at the South Bank, and it was one of the worst eating experiences that I've ever had. Like, we sat down at 5:15, the show was at 7. You would have thought you'd be able to eat one course by then. We didn't get drinks for 45 minutes, we didn't get food for an hour. They charged the table next to us for our drinks. The table the other side complained about how bad the service was, and they got comped, but obviously their drink comped, and then they got like a free bottle of champagne, but they didn't give anything to anyone else. We didn't even get an apology for how bad it was. So yeah, anyway, so that was like a bit of a dampener for the evening, but it was good overall. So in terms of reading updates, which is what we're all actually here for, I am now on page 109 of Where the Dark Stands Still. I should remind myself what it's called. Where the Dark Stands Still. I'm enjoying this a lot more now. So I realised, I didn't give you any kind of overview of what this book is actually about. So this is, I would actually say, is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I don't know if it's intended to be that, but it really reads that way as a Beauty and the Beast fan. So Liska, I can't remember why she's going into the woods, but she ends up going into the woods and then is kind of captured by, I don't know how you pronounce a lot of these names. They are, I'm not sure of the origin. They read Polish to me, so I don't know. I apologize, I'm probably going to say a little bit wrong, but like the Leszki, maybe? But basically kind of this like wood demon captures Liska, I think. I don't really remember the first 50 pages. He captures her and takes her back to his house and is basically like, you need to become my servant and cook and clean for me, effectively. And we've just kind of got to a point where we had the like Beauty and the Beast scene where Belle is like looking after the beast, and it's when she like, I think she tries to escape, and the beast goes after her and like fights off all these wolves, and then like they go back to the castle, and then Belle is like at the
the fireplace, and she's like using the little cloth on his things, and she's like, thank you for saving my life. It's like my favorite bit of the film. So this didn't quite pan out like that, because Liska doesn't try to escape, because basically they've made a deal that she'll stay there for a year, so it's not really like full Beauty and the Beast, you know, it's not really full capture or anything. But he comes back injured from being out fighting things, and then Liska is like you know, treating his wounds. She's the daughter of a healer, so it's like doing that. The only thing I would say is I don't love Liska as a heroine. I think she is a little bit pathetic, sounds mean, but like she is a bit like she's you know, she's there cooking and cleaning, and a lot of it is like, oh, I'm terrified of this wood demon and I can't do anything, and oh, I'm just going to heal him. Like it's not maybe my favourite way that a female's ever been portrayed in a fantasy, but I am intrigued to kind of see where the story with the wood demon is going. And it's just basically been revealed that like he's a human, well, he has a human form, like he's just a boy with a beautiful face. So we'll see how that pans out. As I'm talking about it, I'm like, I don't love this as much, but actually I really did enjoy the reading experience. So I'm going to crack on and read some of this. It is, I'm just looking for the time, 9:15. We have a call with our wedding DJ at 11. So we'll chat with him, and then I think we're going to have some dinner at our friends, or some lunch at our friends, I don't really know, but that's happening at some point, but I don't really know what the timings are. My body is still kind of crying from being on my period, so I'm not loving life. I feel a bit rough today, but I'm gonna settle down and enjoy some reading, and then I'll update you when I've read everything this week. Also forgot to tell you that I started reading Summer in Dandelions, or whatever the arc is called again. I'll put it on the screen. I have decided to DNF this, which I am very disappointed about, because I love the cover, and this isn't one I got through NetGalley. Like the author sent it to me, which is the first time that that's happened to me. But this book is just not for me, which is totally fine. No, not every book is for everybody, and that's not a problem, but it is a very Christian romance, and you know, again, that's absolutely fine. There is totally an audience for that, and if you are somebody who you think would enjoy that, I would absolutely recommend you check out this book. But it's just something that I am not comfortable reading. And just I read about 10%, but the way that it approached some of the themes related to that, I just unfortunately decided not to carry on. So yeah, just thought I would update you on that before I carry on and forget that I need to update you. Happy Monday. Please excuse what I think will be quite a loud sound of rain. It is now raining again. typical British weather, but it's actually really atmospheric to read in here, but I think it's quite loud, particularly like that corner of our conservatory. So just to let you know that that's what that is. So it is like 2:30 or something, and I have finally finished Where the Dark Stands Still. I realise I don't actually know the author of this. Like, this book has a real lack of information in it. A.B. Poranek. There's like such a lack of info, like, to find out, you know, like I don't know what edition it is and stuff. I think I really enjoyed this overall. There was a pronunciation guide at the end of the book which did confirm that it was Polish, that I was reading, but I understand why it was at the end because of like spoilers of characters, but I would have preferred it at the beginning. As somebody who would have liked to have known how to pronounce some of the things, it actually would have been really helpful to have that at the beginning, but anyway, didn't, that's fine. But yeah, I think that overall, yeah, 4 stars I think is what I'm going to give this. Ending for this went in a place I didn't quite expect. I felt that the pacing of the end was maybe kind of a little bit rushed compared to the rest of the book. but then it did something at the end that I wasn't expecting, which was, yeah, an interesting way to finish up. I feel like I should have probably seen it coming, but I just didn't, because I don't really predict the ending for things. Would have liked some steam in here. So this is a fantasy romance, but I would have liked a little bit of steam. But I think it's a YA romance. It definitely reads like a YA. Sorry, my map book is open and my mum texted me like a minute ago and it's just pinged on there. But yeah, so I would have liked that, but I think this is really enjoyable. I think if you like lyrical writing, you like a fantasy romance, but you're looking for something that is not, you know, not remotely, it's not remotely steamy and just has like a little bit of romance, but a lot of story, a lot of lore. And as I say, I do think whether or not this is meant to be a Beauty and the Beast retelling, it's definitely how it reads. It has really different elements, but definitely reads like one. And I really like that element as somebody who really likes Beauty and the Beast. So yeah, I'm really happy that I enjoyed this because it belongs on my beautiful special edition shelf. And I didn't really want to get rid of it because this book is so beautiful. So I'm very glad that I enjoyed it and would like to keep it. We see this vlog is meant to be me finishing books I'm in the middle of. I'm gonna have to pick up something else though, friends. So I can't read another fantasy romance. Having just done 2 quite heavy duty fantasy romances in a row, I can't read Caraval now. Like, this book is a book I really want to enjoy and it needs space from the other books in order to have that. And as I said, this one is a horror, my mum's friend's book, and so, well, like, it's a thriller, not a horror, a thriller. And I don't typically read thrillers, and it's just, I'm not having my best day. I didn't end up going out to see my friends yesterday because I fell asleep in this very comfortable reading chair. And then when Stuart came to be like, we're leaving in 15, I was like, I can't function. So Stuart went without me, which is obviously sad, but I think I needed the evening on my own. But then it meant I had to cook for myself. So that was not the one. So I didn't really achieve anything else last night. I like brought the book into the living room with the best intentions of reading it, but that didn't happen. And today we're on an emotional roller coaster right now, but that's not what, you're not here to listen about my lack of control over my emotions. You are here to listen to my readings. So I think that I'm going to pick up Night Shift by Annie Crown. This is a YA romance, and this cover is one of my favourite covers ever. And frankly, we could just change this vlog to be books with beautiful covers because Addie LaRue, my copy of Addie LaRue, also has a beautiful cover. But this one I actually have facing out on my bookshelves because I love it so much. I have seen a lot of people selling this on Vinted, so I'm going to guess that that means that people are not loving this. However, I love YA romance. So I think the chances of me loving this are probably quite high. Like, it's quite rare for me to not like a YA romance. It really brings me back to like my peak reading era. So I think I want to read this. This is a, is it a fake date? No, I don't think it is a fake date, but it's a kind of reading nerd ends up with the basketball player, you know, that kind of like stereotypical Disney Channel movie. So this is what I want to read. Can I read all of this in one day? Like, I used to think I was a fast reader, but this took me so long to read, as did Addie LaRue. I think it's probably just where I'm so tired. So wow, we're gonna give it our best shot, yeah? Should we pick a bookmark to go with this? Because the bookmark I was using for May the Dark Stand Still is this one, which is my favourite bookmark, which is from Becca and the Books. But this one is not the vibe of a YA romance. So this is my bookmark mug, which is from Fairy Loot. It's based on Daughter of the Moon Goddess, which I have yet to read. So this one could be really cute. This is a free one that I got from Ashen Books, who I got all of my Chestnut Springs bookmarks from. I've got a few like Ali Hazelwood ones. I mean, the Love Hypothesis one like is very cute that I have. It's like my only one with a ribbon. We've got like this daisy print one, but the book is pink. I've got like a Bridgerton one. Yeah, I think I will go for my freebie from Ashen Books, because this one is about reading. This one, because she's like a, you know, she loves books, the female character in this. I think that's the one I'll go for. So I will check in with you when I have something to say. And that, my friends, is the end of Monday. Please excuse the state of my hair. I have very grey hair and it's getting dyed on Monday ahead of the wedding. So I read all of Night Shift without updating you. It took me about 4 hours to read. What a good choice. I really, really enjoyed this. Just gonna clarify for those of you that were, you know, either you're not aware or those of you who were watching that first clip laughing because of how not accurate my summary of this book was. This is not a cute, wholesome high school romance, okay? This cover is so misleading. Stop turning, chair. It's so misleading. It is actually a super, super steamy university romance instead. So really different vibes, but is even more my thing, really. And it didn't have any of the kind of, you know, I'm nearly 32, right? So I like reading teen stuff, but young adult stuff, well, what I would deem new adult, which I think really is what this book is, but that kind of like 21 to 26 age group is actually not typically books I like to read. I like to read books that are far enough away from an age that I am, so that I can either look back on it fondly or look back on it in a kind of, oh, I remember what it was like to feel 16 or whatever. And I obviously like reading books about my own age, but the early 20s is the sticking point age for me. I just feel like, not that I would choose to go back and live my high school years, but I really wouldn't choose to go back and relive my early 20s. So I think there's just something about it. I don't like reading. I often find the characters kind of hard to deal with around that time. University age group, absolutely love it. And yeah, this book's just really great. So to summarize, it is about Kendall, who works in a library, and it's not like, she's actually not your like truly typical book romance geek. Like, no, she doesn't like partying and socializing, but she loves spending time with her friends. She still likes getting drunk. She just likes doing that on her own terms, and her friends respect that and really like that. I think this was like a really healthy look at friends and what you should be looking for in what will often end up being lifelong friends for you when you're in your 20s. And she's working on this shift, and the basketball player, the, you know, number one basketball player of their university, comes into the library and immediately starts talking to her, and she's like, why would you speak to me in the way that, like, you know, kind of nerdy girls do? But he's grumpy and it annoys her straight away, and she kind of snaps, and they have quite a sort of like bantery, like flirty but quippy meet cute. And within 15 minutes, they are like making out in this like, you know, kind of quiet area of the library. And sometimes I don't love the insta-love trope, but I actually think in this one, I could see where it came from. Like, I think it was written really well. And then it's about them both kind of coming to terms with, oh, this other person wants to be with me, and how do they want to be with me? And particularly we never get the main character's POV, which is to the benefit of this book, I think. But when we're in Kendall's head, we are constantly seeing her anxiety over, she has never been with anybody. She has kissed a couple of people, but only when drunk. Like, she's never had sex with anybody of any kind at any base. And we see a lot of the anxieties come out with that. And I think that is handled so well. As somebody who didn't lose my virginity until I was a little bit older, I really feel like this book handled the insecurities that come with that really well. And I think that whilst this book is for an older age group, there are a lot of people who could benefit from reading this at a younger age, about kind of like what you should be looking for in your first time and the kind of person that you should be wanting to give that to. Now, does Kendall start having, you know, not full-blown sex, but, you know, does she get to whatever base with this guy quite early on? Yes, they really don't know each other that well, and that, I don't think I'm going to give this book 5 stars, and I think that's really the only reason I would knock a star off, is that this relationship goes from like 0 to 10 very quickly. And in the last like third, after we get through the dramatic third, it's kind of addressed where she does this whole spiel about everything she likes about him. What is his name? I've just read a whole book about him, Vincent. And they don't spend a lot of time together. However, it's still, I think, handled really well. I still think that the conversations around consent and looking for a decent guy are really good. And if this is like the first of my videos you'll watch, I am not in any way attracted in real life and in a book to a guy who makes the girl kind of unsure of what he's trying to do, and like anything like that, any kind of I'm gonna chase you and make you follow me. No, I'm not here for that. And I don't think it is healthy for young women to read books about that kind of romantic partner, male, female, non-binary or otherwise. And what I really liked in Night Shift is that it really, you know, it really deals with like, okay, yeah, he is the number one basketball player and all this kind of stuff, but it subverts the tropes around him being somebody who, you know, is kind of harsh a lot of the time. No, he's just a really, really good guy. If you like Bride and you like how well, to be honest, if you like any Annie Hazelwood male main character, I think you would probably really enjoy this book, because I think that this male main character is written in a really similar way of like, they seem untouchable to the woman, but the anxieties about being with them come from the woman rather than come from the man. And I really like reading that sort of book at the end of the day. The spicy scenes are excellent. I've not really said much about what happens in the book, but the plot is the plot. It goes kind of how you think it would go. But there's a lot of like English literature rep in here. There's some really good like found family with friends. I think the way that friendships are explored in this are really good. Yeah, I just really enjoyed it. And yeah, the only reason I think I wouldn't give it 5 stars is because it does move very quickly, and it's not very long. It's about 300 pages, but I flew through it, literally did not put it down. I went and ran a bath and I sat and read it while I was running the bath, and then I finished it while in the bath, and I would not get out of the bath. I delayed my just dinner to finish this book. So I did really, really enjoy my time reading this, but it does move very quickly, and I just didn't get enough time with the characters. But it has excellent spicy scenes. You know, when we're being critical of a book that doesn't have them, or we don't have that in Night Shift. I do think though that the marketing of this book is so off, because I sent this to my friend Liz, because me and Liz have basically nearly identical taste in books. Like, it's amazing to be such good friends with somebody who you can talk about all the books you read. Like, I really, really, truly cherish my friendship with her. And I sent her the cover of this book and was like, Liz, if you don't have this on your TBR, I need you to add this immediately. And Liz is not a fan, like I am, of like a high school romance. And she was like, Kat, like, if they are high schoolers, I don't, you know, they're going to be too young for me. And I was like, no, the book is missold. It's missold. So yeah, if you think you can bear university romance, there's none of it is actually about being a university student and dealing with any of the realities of that. It's really low stakes, light touch, really, really super spicy, good time. Then I would recommend this book. But I've seen so many people selling this on Vinted, and I think it's because the cover is so misleading. So like, please, you know, just go in with caution. If you like the kind of books I look, if you're like a Tessa Bailey fan, really, I think if you're an Annie Hazelwood fan, because the other thing I really like about this is obviously this is we're going through Kendall's first time with all manners of sex, and it's handled so well, because it doesn't go perfectly and stuff goes wrong, and there's constant levels of consent and having to adapt to things she's not used to. And that's the sex scenes I want to read. I don't want to read perfect sex scenes. That's not what sex is like, and it's not healthy to teach people that that's what sex is like. It's so much better to read it like that. Yeah, okay, had a really good time. Anyway, I've been rambling for 10 minutes. So that is the end of this vlog. So ultimately, I only read 3 books, and by read 3 books, I mean I read most of this, okay, minus 50 pages. So let's kind of count this as 2. And then I read probably 200 pages or something of Addie LaRue, which I always think I would love to do 24-hour
readathons or 48-hour readathons, or I would like to, so this weekend was Final Book Support Group run by Steph Loves, and I was like, I would love to dedicate the entire weekend to reading. I dedicated a relatively large chunk of my weekend to reading and didn't get through a lot, but it's taught me a lot about what I can read quickly, because this and Addie LaRue, I enjoyed both, but they took me a lot longer to get through because that, you know, they're just a harder read. They have other languages in the case of When the Dark Stands Still, and just like a lot more plot to get your head around. This flew through it, couldn't put it down, you know, read it in like 3 hours. So if I was going to do another one of those challenges, I think I would now be a lot more selective about what I read, because I know a lot more now about what I can and can't get read in quick succession in a weekend. But, you know, ultimately I had a great time with all of these, and really this vlog is now just going to be like the vlog of beautiful books rather than the books I'm in the middle of. Because as a reminder, like, this is my, oh my word, that was embarrassing. This is my cover of Addie LaRue, stunning. And this is obviously the naked hardback for Where the Dark Stands Still, which is beautiful, as is the cover, but it's down there. And as I said, Night Shift is a cover I had facing out before I'd even read it. It's a cover I love. So, you know, I had a great, you know, 3 days reading. Just maybe wasn't quite as successful as I thought it would be, but I'm giving them all 4 stars. In terms of the order that I enjoyed them, if we're interested in that, Night Shift's definitely number 1. Look, I'm just a romance girly, okay? And I don't think it's recency bias, like it's what I would choose to read, like, and the experience of just flying through the book is what I would choose. Of the other 2, I think it's probably Where the Dark Stands Still second and Addie LaRue third, but it's kind of hard to say because obviously we've talked a lot about my experience of reading Addie LaRue. But I'm giving all of these 4 stars. They are really different 4 stars, but I think they are all worthy of that title. So I think that's fine. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Bit of a different one for me. I haven't filmed any reading vlogs in a long time, so let me know if you enjoyed this. I think I was really rambly for a lot of it, so I'm really sorry about that. I hope that you enjoyed. If you did enjoy this video, I'd really appreciate a like, and if you haven't already, I'd love it if you subscribe. In the description, I will have a link to my Instagram, my Goodreads. I'll also have a link to my Vinted if you want to check out any books that I'm unhauling. It's not be any of these 3, but I do have quite a lot of books listed on there that I've unhauled in previous videos. So if you want to check that out, then obviously I would love that as well. Otherwise, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.